On today's episode, we're going to dive into the exhilarating world of starting, bootstrapping, and scaling an HVAC business from the ground up. Discover the true power of vision and persistence and unravel strategies that transformed a single truck operation into a thriving enterprise. Stay tuned to uncover the key insights that could ignite your path to success in the home service industry.
Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I am your host, Justin Deese. And before we get started with today, I want to say this. At Freedom Blueprint, our goal is to assist business owners in achieving the freedom that they dreamed of when they founded their business. We do this by discussing relevant topics, strategies, and even the speed bumps they've encountered along their journey. We empower you to build a blueprint that unlocks the freedom within your business. And today's just a really, really good example of that, as today we're going to dive in deep with Philip Ferrara from Liberty Air out of Gainesville, Florida, and talk a little bit about his journey and how he took a single truck operation into a thriving enterprise. And welcome to Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I am hanging out today with a fellow contractor and friend, Philip Ferrara of Liberty Air down in beautiful Gainesville, Florida. Philip, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy.
So, Liberty Air, for anybody listening who doesn't know, you guys have a pretty cool brand. And before we jump into the Liberty of today and the Philip of today, let's kind of back up a little bit on how you even got started as a contractor.
So I've been in the industry for about 25 years. I started the company about 16 years ago. I was fortunate enough, I worked in New York City for Trane, the manufacturer up there. Worked at some high-level things, was on a team that helped redesign their water source heat pump. Not to be braggadocious, but won some awards for doing that. Worked at that level and decided that it was time to move out of New York. We moved to Florida. Me and my wife, she has a master's of business. She was in investment banking. And when you work at that kind of level up there, you kind of realize, wait a minute, we could do this ourselves. So 16 years ago, we started with me and a truck, and here we are, going pretty strong. Very thankful to the Lord for just all of the customers we have, the coworkers we have, and continually growing. But that's kind of the real quick version of how we got started.
So now when you were with Trane, obviously Trane is a manufacturer. So how did that shift happen, going from working from a manufacturer standpoint to running a home service business?
You know, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I actually forgot that right when I got in the trade, I still lived at home. I had told my mom when I was still living at home, one day I'm going to own my own company and I'm going to name it Liberty. Had completely forgot about that. And then 3 years into the business, my mom comes to me and she says, "Hey, do you remember that day you told me you were going to own your own business and name it Liberty?" And I was so blown away because I had absolutely completely forgot about that. And the reason why I named it Liberty was because me and my wife were standing over on the Brooklyn Promenade overlooking the Statue of Liberty. And when we had decided, hey, let's do this. And that's when we named it Liberty Air. And so So it's pretty crazy. So I think I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My wife has always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and so yeah, that's how it started.
So what a cool moment for that to happen, because really, you put that out into the universe and it put it right back on you and said, "Oh, you need to name this thing Liberty," and you didn't even remember it.
Yeah, didn't even remember. Didn't even know we would be living in New York City. So yeah, it's one of those things where our words are pretty powerful, and you know God knows things before we know things. Sometimes I think
Like they
so.
say, if you would like to have a plan and you want to hear God laugh, tell them what your
Yeah,
plan is and watch how that shifts. So that's good.
yeah, yeah, no doubt.
So from manufacturing, obviously you didn't grow up as a technician. Were you a technician at any other company, or did you just start it as kind of the head of the business and maybe the sales
No,
side of it?
so when I first started in the industry, both me and my wife grew up in New Orleans. My best friend growing up, he worked for his father-in-law in the air conditioning business, and you know, I don't know of many people that wake up one day and say, "Hey, I think I'm going to be an HVAC technician." Right? It's not, and it was one of those things. I was 21, and my best friend was like, "Hey, you want to come work with me?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And so that's how I got into the trade, and then I just stuck with it. And then when I went to train, I was actually a technician for train, and so I was technical. I learned a lot of my technical skills from train, and then working for some other small companies prior to train.
Okay, very cool. So New York City to Gainesville, Florida. Um,
Yeah,
how did you land in Gainesville? That's a big jump. That's a massive, massive city
yeah,
to Gainesville's medium-sized business, or medium-sized city. It's not
yeah.
humongous, but
Yeah, so we originally were there prior to going to New York City. My wife went to the University of Florida. She got her, like I said, she got her master's in business there. And long story short, we got involved in our church, and that church started another church up in New York City. We felt called to go there. We went to help them. We were in business. Like I said, I worked for Train. She worked for an investment company, and then about 6 years after that, that church ended up closing down. We decided to move back to Florida. So, and that's kind of how that whole transition thing went. But it was a great experience. Wouldn't change it for anything. Still love New York City and all the people that we met, the things that we learned. Um, I don't know that I would love New York City right now the way it is, but but back then it was pretty awesome to live there.
well, in New York City, my wife and I have been there a couple times, and our kids have been there, and it's definitely a fun place to visit. It would be a little bit of a challenge to raise a family, and I
Mm,
know people do it, and I'm sure somebody's listening, and they're like, "You don't know what you're talking about," and that's true. I'm more of a sleepy beach town kind of guy, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like that would be tough to just the normal everyday run to the grocery store would be a big deal.
yeah, yeah. It's a grind, and it takes a special person to live there and stay there. No doubt about it. You just have to absolutely love it, or be filthy rich to where you can have multiple places and get out of the city on the weekends, because
Yeah,
it can be a grind.
that's awesome. So okay, so got to Gainesville.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you guys are Gator fans.
my wife is.
You're not a Gators
I'm
fan.
a nah. I'm an LSU fan.
Oh, that's true. You're from New Orleans, so I guess that
Yeah,
as long as we're
yeah,
keeping it in the
yeah.
SEC family, we're
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is there any other?
I, not anymore. Everybody's coming to the SEC now. Everybody's dumping all the other like what conference? No, we're coming to the SEC. Which I'm an Auburn
Yeah,
fan, so hopefully we got some changes coming. It might
yeah,
stick a little bit longer. Who knows? But anyway, so you guys get back to Gainesville and you kick off Liberty Air, which you didn't even
yeah,
know it, but you named it 10 years, 15 years before the name. You
yeah,
didn't even know it. So walk us through
yeah,
that. So you guys launch. When you launched, was it just you?
yeah. So we launch. We had moved from New York. started a business, moved, and we're in the process. We were having our second child. So the three most stressful things you can do, we did it all in 1 year, which I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. We're living on our savings, right? We started the business. We didn't take any loans, and I remember in July now. I'm sorry, in June. I think we were like 3 months in, and my wife looks at me. She's like, and I'm sitting at home because it's just me. Phones aren't ringing. They don't know we're out there. They don't know. Um, she says, "You got to go do something." Like, it's June, and we're an air conditioning company in Florida. Like, that's not good. And so I remember there was this neighborhood. It had 364 homes. I remember the exact number, 364 homes. I printed up 364 flyers for free service calls and went to every single home and handed out flyers, every single home. And I got back and I was drenched, sweat, just went door to door, like just grinding it out. Cause I mean, what else do you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, and get back and zero customers called, zero. And I'm like, but the wife that my wife is, and she's like, yeah, but God saw what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah. And it encouraged me because, man, you talk about feel defeated, right? You just walked 365 homes, gave out free service calls, and nobody calls, right? Like, that's not good. um, and so, and I did the same thing in the neighborhood that we lived in. We went and did packets and went door to door, and then gradually, little by little, customers started calling. Got into some networking groups and just grinded it out, just day after day, and just thankful. Right, I was wearing all the hats. I was the technician. I was taking the calls. I was setting up maintenances. I was doing everything. Right, and little by little, we just gradually grew, gradually grew, gradually grew, and I was working 80, 90-hour weeks, and I was on call 24/7, 7 days a week for the first 4 to 5 years of our business. I remember
Wow.
working, I'd work 16-hour days, get home, didn't even eat lunch, didn't, I mean, I wouldn't see my kids. I'd leave before they woke up. I would get home when they were already in bed. I'd take a shower, and then my phone would ring at 2 o'clock in the morning. Somebody wants a service call. My wife's like hitting me. She's like, "Your phone's ringing." I said, "I'm not going." She's like, "You have to go." I'm like, "I'm not going." She's like, "You have to." And I'd get out and I'd go and do it. And we still have customers to this day that remember me coming out on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And now we're closed on Sundays. We only take call until 10 o'clock at night on in the summer, and 8 o'clock in the wintertime. I mean, it's pretty cush now. But yeah, it was one of those things where business isn't complicated. It's just not easy.
Right. Well said. So when
Yeah.
you were going through that period, what was like? What were you feeling at that point? I mean, you said a little bit of defeat, but like, were you ready to just? I'm gonna go get a job.
Yeah. So no, that never did cross my
Okay.
mind. Like, it was never. Yeah, it was never like, hey, there's another option. Like, this is it. This. There's no plan B. Um, I can tell you that I don't know that I ever complained about working 90-hour weeks, because I remembered when I was working 1 hour weeks. I didn't have any business. And so and that's kind of one of the things that I really, really learned, in our industry, especially in Florida. Summertime, we're 150 miles an hour. Wintertime, we're about 30 miles an hour.
Hmm.
And so in the winter months, it causes me to be thankful for the busy time, because I always say I'd rather be stressed because I'm too busy than stressed because I'm not busy enough. And
Yes.
so that was one of those things that really helps. And then in the winter months, it's my time to really, really better the business, better me, better the team, go to training, do a bunch of the things that we need to do to get ready for go time. And so that's kind of one of those things that I do to help. It's a good reminder of what it could be like. So don't ever complain that you have too much business.
I think that's well, first of all, gratitude um,
Yeah,
is something that is easily forgotten. And I know that it is easy to only live in the moment and forget about the past and the future to just be thinking about the
yeah,
present. So,
yeah,
yeah, I think gratitude, and especially when it comes to the HVAC business, because yeah, I mean it's high cotton come summertime, and at least
yeah,
in Florida, and in the wintertime, you're like nobody's calling. It's like they have their windows open,
yeah,
and it's beautiful.
yeah,
And when it's 110,
yeah.
they all want you. You know, they're all want you.
Oh yeah,
So no, I
yeah,
think that's good, and I think that's a good reminder of as you know, as at the time of recording, and this episode will go live during the summer months, when again most HVAC businesses are going to be hair on fire and stressed out because there's more calls than they can.
yeah,
Hopefully, everybody that listening has got more calls than they can handle, and hopefully they're
yeah.
managing correctly. So at what point was there like a shift between fill up 100 hours a week, wearing all the hats, to starting to pick up some team members and starting to kind of offload some of that workload you were having to shoulder?
We we were um we were probably about 3 or 4 years into the business when I hired my first guy. You know, the thing is, and I'll tell you, I don't know if many. I'm sure a lot of listeners would know, but I was fortunate enough to have Ron Smith as my coach.
Yeah.
Um, I bought his book. I had ran across his book. I don't know where it just said HVAC spells wealth, right? Funny enough, my wife is now quoted on the back of his book. But uh, so she ends up calling him and just to ask him a question because I read it was basically his his book and the Bible were the two books that I read. It was like, okay, if I can't get it right with those two, then maybe I should look for another job. But so so I didn't really know who he was. We read a little bit about him and we thought, man, this guy's like legit. Like he's changed the industry for the better. The
Absolutely.
fact that he's the one that created the maintenance contract, right? So she ends up calling him and just asks him a question or asks his company a question, and he calls her back. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Ron Smith just called me back." And so they start talking, and then she's like, "I'm gonna see if he would coach us." And like, okay. Um, I'm like, yeah, right. Like, why would he want to coach? But I'll tell you a funny story too. But so he's like, yeah, I'll coach you. And so he starts coaching us, helping us to kind of do some things that we needed to get done. But I think it was the second or third year into coaching, he starts asking me to do some things that were making me feel really uncomfortable outside of my comfort zone, training and having weekly meetings and delegating all like these responsibilities that they were my responsibilities. Nobody can do it as good as I can,
Mhm.
right? And so he was at our office. He had come in, and I started telling Ron Smith. Now, mind you, I'm 4 years in business, and he's he's telling me, okay, well, you need to do this, you need to do this, and I start giving him all the reasons why that can't happen.
Mhm.
Right? Like, oh, that can't happen. That's just no this, no, we can't do that. This is why we can't do that. This is why. And so he finally says, Phil, I'm done here. He literally gets up from my office, flies home a day early, then writes me a long letter and says, I'm going to no longer work with you. I can't do any. And mind you, he's already super successful. He wasn't doing it for the money,
Right.
right? He was doing it because he cared about people. And he's like, "Listen, I can't work with you anymore. You're giving me all the excuses why this and this can't be done." He goes, "I'll still work with your wife, but I'm not working with you anymore." And and I was like, "Wow!" Like it was a eye opener for me. That was probably one of my. If you were to ask me what I would do now differently, it would be listen to my coaches. And And even if you don't understand it, even if you don't think that it can work, do it anyway. As long as your coaches have already been through the fire and have done it and have been there and they have some scars to prove it, then listen to them and just do what they're asking you to do, and you'll see a huge difference. That would be, if I would have, the two coaches that I had were Ron Smith, and then I had a communications relational coach. They both last year passed away, which was, pretty tough. But the things that I learned from them, I'm still using today. And I would say that to most people: get coaches early in your career and then listen to them, and your life will be easier. Your business will be more successful, and you will flourish way faster than trying to figure it out on your own, because they've already figured it out. So why try to reinvent the wheel?
When I think you hit on a good point too. At not only get coaches, but get coaches that have been in the fire. I
Yeah,
think that at times people look for coaches, and normally when you're looking for a coach, you're not in a really good spot, right? So typically when you
right.
start looking for a coach, you're kind of feeling like I'm in a not good spot. And so find
Right.
somebody who's done it. Make sure you vet them that they're a good fit for you. And I'll say this: Ron Smith was such an amazing man, and from an integrity standpoint, like everything that you just said about Ron is so awesome, and the fact that
Yeah.
he fired you is amazing, right?
Yeah.
Because he is
So
there
that's my
simply
claim to
to get
fame.
better, not for his ego,
Yeah.
right? Like he's not there for the money,
Yeah.
he's not
Not.
there for the ego, and he's like, "Look, if you're not gonna
Yeah.
do the things that I'm telling you to do," which you think about that, how you have quite a few kids, they're at that age where you're starting to probably
Oh
have
yeah.
those conversations of, "No, no, no, don't do that. I've already been there. Do it this way." And of course, what do? They know it
Yeah.
all. They've already
I mean, it's so funny because I think about it now and I think how arrogant and stupid I must have sounded telling Ron Smith, a guy that's been in business 3 to 4 years. I'm telling Ron Smith that can't be done.
Yeah.
He's already owned 8 companies and sold them, and is a bazillionaire, and I'm telling him things can't be done. And I look back on this, and I'm thinking, Phil, you're an idiot. And I can only imagine what my wife was thinking too. I mean, she's a saint just to stay with me, but it's just one of those things, right? You look back and you're like, wow, I was really off the mark there, and one of the best things that ever happened to me was Ron Smith firing me. I mean, really, because it woke me up. I was like,
And
so when I
it
read
made
this
you check your
email,
ego.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, and then my relational coach said the same thing. Is so wait a minute, so because he was trying to say, look, you need to start delegating, you're going to burn yourself out, and I wouldn't do it, right? And I understand that, like, it's your baby, you've done everything, but he looks at me one day and he goes, so what you're telling me is you're so good at everything that nobody can do what you do? And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, just think about if you started delegating certain things to people that they're really good at, and you can really focus on other things that you can be even better at. And you know what my response was? Because both my wife now and my coach were teaming up on me. We're in this intense meeting, right? Like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But if it fails, it's on y'all too. It's on you. And it didn't fail. It's like, dang it. I'm glad I was wrong. Let's just put it that way. I'm glad I was wrong. And
Well,
so
and it's
um
easy, and here's the truth. Most of what you were doing, you're not going to find people to do things as well as you can. You're not going to find people that are going to go run a call with the same passion that you're going to run it in. You're not going to find technicians to do, like, there is certain things that no matter what, there's not going to be the same passion and intensity that you have because it's
right,
yours.
right.
80% rule. Like all you want is, like, if you just 80% and training,
Yeah.
and then do the 80% is is a good way to lead with it. So you got over Philip Ego, you push that to the
Yeah.
side, and you started
Yeah.
thinking, all right.
It still tries to pop up every once in a while.
Well, and again, I think your wife, um, I think Gina's one of those that will probably bump you on it. She's probably like,
Oh,
hey,
oh no, not
you
probably.
you
Oh,
need
she
to check
bumps me.
that.
She
Matter of fact, once you go
Yeah.
outside and try that again.
Yeah.
That's good. So
Oh yeah.
now let's talk a little bit about Liberty today.
Yeah.
Your marketing, like your whole marketing, is I'm going to say it's pretty cool. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so our slogan is "We love cool people," and it's the "we" with a blue heart, cool people, and it's a takeoff of we love that T-shirt. I love New York, right? So obviously, New York City, Liberty, we love cool people. Um, it just stuck with us, right? I didn't come up with it. Guy out of New York City that helped me with my logo, and that's still a close friend of mine. He actually works for like NBC Network, and he does their marketing. So he helped me with it, and it just stuck, and so that's our kind of slogan, our little marketing thing that we use. Yeah, so we love cool people.
Yeah, I think that's awesome, and I think that it does a really good job of who you are. Of
Yeah,
explaining it and saying it, and people who doesn't want to be cool from any
right. Especially in Florida.
yeah, especially in Florida, especially in the summertime. Who doesn't want to be cool?
Yeah,
What
or as a person, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So now you guys have, the business obviously looks totally different than it did when you first started it. So you've got
Mhm.
team now. What is your day to day kind of look like?
So my day to day is a lot of tracking, training, making sure my general manager is. I mean, I'm even now really pushing a lot for my general manager to start doing a lot of things that he probably should have been doing a long time ago, um, and learning some of that stuff too, to let go of some of those things as well. Um, I've started another company as well, uh, called DartBid. It's actually proposal software specifically for the HVAC industry. So that takes some of my time as well. But as far as Liberty Air, a lot of it is just managing our team, uh, track, making sure they have what they need. Training Wednesdays, every morning, every Wednesday we train. So I plan for that. Look at our constantly looking at our numbers, making sure we're hitting our marks and performance and things like that. So,
Very cool.
and then the occasional uh, customer that has to talk to the owner. Those customers. Um, so we have those every once in a while that I have to deal with as well. But um,
So I'm glad you brought up DartBid, and I would love for you to come back on and talk more about it. We Paradise Home Services, we use DartBid, and it's a pretty awesome software. And by awesome, I mean it's really changed how we're able to sell and present to customers. And I don't want to give too much away now, but I definitely, if you're up for it, I would love for you to come back on and us
yeah,
dive in a
of
little bit
course.
more on that, because
Yeah,
I think that you found a really good hole in the market, and have filled it with a pretty
yeah.
awesome piece of software. And but yeah, so as we wrap up here, any kind of closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to share?
I will tell you, again, surround yourself with other great contractors. Um, I know you're a contractor yourself, right? And we met at a Service Nation event, and we just kind of hit it off. And when you get around like-minded people that are willing to better one another, that are looking out for everyone's best interest, there's not a bunch of ego. There's not like, hey, guess how much money I'm making. Like, nobody cares about that.
Right.
What we care about is, hey man, how's your summer going? Or what are you doing differently, or what are you struggling with? Oh, well, try this. This is what I learned. It's everybody helping one another. So I would say, for me, I'm part of Service Nation, and it has been a game changer for us, getting around other contractors, going to some of the things they're putting on. I mean, I met you, and I've met some other great contractors that you become friends with,
Mhm.
right? And if you're dealing with something, I can call you and say, Justin, hey, how did you handle this? Or have you ever ran across? Oh yeah, here's how you handle that, and it worked really well. Or no, don't do it this
I can
way
tell you how
because
not to do it.
how not to do it. Yeah, don't do it this way. But I would say, um, don't try to figure it out on your own. Being a home service contractor is not easy. You have to be technical. You have to have great customer service. You have to have all those types of things. So it's one of those things where, when you surround yourself with really good people, like-minded people in your industry, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree. And also, Service World 2024 is going to be in Orlando, so it's right in your
Yeah,
backyard. So we should get to
yeah,
hang.
yeah. And I'm actually I'm going to be speaking
Awesome,
at it.
very cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chris and I are as
it's
well. So
cool.
we're excited to be a big Service World this year, and
Yeah,
we're actually I think we're going to do some Disney days. So our daughter can be in her
yeah,
senior year, so I think she's like, "Can we do a Disney day?" I'm like,
cool.
sure. So hopefully we'll all get
Yeah,
to
I'll,
hang.
I'll definitely. We can all stand in a 3-hour line for a 30-second ride and sweat to
Yep.
death. Well, at least it'll be October. It won't be too
Yeah,
terrible.
it's not. It's better than August for sure. Which we have made
Yeah.
Disney trips. We have made one Disney trip in August, and not sure why.
You talk about marketing, right? Like they have it down pat to where they can make you spend $5,000 to get in and stand in a line for 3 hours for a 30-second ride. It's absolutely miserable, and we just keep
Yeah.
coming back
Yep,
because it's the greatest place on
and
earth.
we know that because they told us.
They told us that.
Yeah, they told us, so we know. So listen, little side story. So one of the first times when my kids were small, we took them to Disney. I remember sitting. We were in Magic Kingdom, and I remember sitting there watching the people and all the things happen. And I remember buying the book, the Disney. What was it? Oh, it's called The Disney Way, and reading that book because I was so fascinated how that all worked and like everything
Yeah.
from a system standpoint to everything is systemized, including how many steps to a trash can and why they don't sell
Yes, I
gum
read
and
that
that they
too.
pressure wash every night and like there's just so much cool
Yeah,
from a business nerd and a systems nerd, which I am.
yeah,
That is the one thing that I love about Disney is just watching how all that stuff works. And
yeah. It's a fine oiled machine. I
man,
can tell you that much. That's
it
for
it
sure.
sure is. So, well, cool, Philip. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out and sharing a little bit of the story. And really can't wait to have you back to talk a little bit more about
Yeah,
DartBid.
I would love that, and I appreciate you having me on. It was my honor to be on your show for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Philip.
All right, buddy. Bye.
So, man, that was a really cool conversation with Philip, and it's always interesting to hear the journey of another service business owner. And there's some pretty good notes that I got in the conversation with Philip. Yeah, the importance of vision and determination, and honestly, dedication. Like it's very phenomenal to hear a story like that, and not only hear the story, but hear and see how it comes out on the other end, and how he didn't consider quitting. He just kept going, kept driving. I don't know, man. It's inspiring, and I for one am glad to know him, and I think it was just a great conversation. But listen, thanks for tuning in today with the conversation. And if you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with anybody, any fellow leaders who could benefit from mastering really vision in the home service space. Until next time, keep setting those visions and goals and watching your business and leadership transform. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and as always, keep crushing it.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.